Snoop Dogg and now rock legend Gene Simmons, who has teamed up with Invictus, a Vancouver-based cannabis company, now sporting the stock symbol Gene, G-E-N-E. I caught up with Simmons, who will serve as the company's chief evangelist officer.
Well, I'm interested in all sorts of businesses, and I invest in all sorts of things. Real estate, biotech, all kinds of stuff. I don't do press conferences and talk about, what my investments are, but I'm fascinated by this company Invictus, and I'm an investor. In the interest of full disclosure, I've got $10 million of stock in the company. And there's all this sort of pop culture positioning about titles and Gene Simmons, and he's got a long tongue and all that. But at the end of the day, I think the cannabis area is very interesting. There's all sorts of new information everybody is learning about. Researchers, doctors, and so on. The more I read, the more fascinating it is. Laws are in flux. The world is changing. People will decide, of the people, for the people, by the people, whatever it is that they want their laws to be, by electing, duly elected officials that make those things happen. So I'm not here to wave the flag for, against, or anything else. I'm fascinated by Invictus, and I'm bullish by the company, the management, the structure, the way they treat their folks. And I'm in for the long haul. I'm not a short guy. You understand what I mean by that, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And, I know that some people initially, when they heard about this, they said, well, Gene Simmons doesn't use drugs.
Yeah, but that's okay.
What I thought about was the fact that, to your point about having all these...
That's actually incorrect. Yeah. Everybody uses drugs. Do you ever have a headache? Don't you take an aspirin? When you go to the dentist, he'll numb the tooth. Those are drugs. Everybody uses drugs. It is drug abuse. And they say a little bit of wine a day is supposed to be good for you. I mean, I'm not interested in alcohol as such, but if somebody toasts, I'll toast them. But I've literally never been willingly and consciously high or drunk, and have never smoked cigarettes. But this is a life choice for me. I'm lucky enough to be living in Western culture, Canada included, and I would never shake the perennial finger at somebody's face and proselytize, or other big words like gymnasium. I don't want to tell anybody what the choices are in life. We're lucky we have choices. For me, in Invictus, and I've never had any cannabis of any kind, and I may or may not in the future. But for me, it's strictly a financial investment. I see it as a good thing, and I would urge everybody else to ignore everything I'm saying and just do your own research. Are you in the stock market?
Yes.
What do you do? Take $1 and just throw it and see what sticks, or do you do your due diligence?
You try to take a look?
Of course. You want to find out who's in charge, what's the management, what's the business model, what's the history, what's the upside, what's the downside, and then you make an informed, educated decision where to put your money. And I'm just like you.
And one of the other investments you've got, Rock and Brews, this fast-growing restaurant operation. You wouldn't ask the CEO, likely wouldn't ask the CEO of a restaurant chain that sells, let's say, beer. Do you drink beer?
I don't.
Well, because you're Gene Simmons, people ask that question.
Oh, I get that all the time. But no, I don't. But so what? I mean, if I go to a restaurant and I speak to a chef and I'd say, make me a spinach souffle, does he actually have to eat spinach in order to make the spinach souffle? Is it possible he's not interested, never had spinach, but he'll make the best spinach souffle you've ever had? So this whole notion of a straight line always making sense, no, it's not. I invest in all sorts of things that I don't personally use, that I like, that I think, I think they're good financial bets, but go ahead.
You, with KISS, had such a vision and... Absolutely.
You're right, we're America's #1 gold record award-winning group of all time in all categories, Recording Industry Association of America.
The line that I think is so fascinating that you've said before is that we wanted to create a rock and roll brand, not a band. And you look at the powerhouse that is KISS, not just with selling music, but on the merchandising side, which very much was your vision.
You can't, no one person can take credit for it, and that's too self-aggrandizing. See, that's another big word. It's too much patting yourself on the back. It always takes a team. Nobody can do it all. So I'm not going to stand here and say thank you, but thank you.